Good morning, my friends. This is Becky. Welcome back to my channel. On my channel, I am going through my good midlife crisis where I am journeying through my 40s and I am working oh so hard to get my poop in a group. In order to do this, I have been working on my physical, my financial, and my mental health. And today is Friday, March the 8th. And we are going to be working on my financial health. We are going to be budgeting out the money that you see above my head, $556.86. And we are going to be doing that in the app that you see behind me. This is YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. If you are new, welcome. I am so excited that you are here. And if you are not new, welcome back. You may notice that this is less money than we ended the week with last week. And you may also notice that my days of buffering is negative and my age of money is down. This is okay. There are reasons for this, and I will talk about them right now. Fortunately, we don't actually have a lot to do. I don't have any bills to pay this week. And I only have my regular stuff to fill. So I'm gonna talk for y'all for just a minute. Nobody's surprised. If you're new, welcome. I'm Becky. I talk a lot. I hope you like that because I do. I talk a lot. So I rewatched last week's video. I'm liking this habit that I'm getting into of rewatching last week's video so I can go over the things and making sure all my comments are responded to. And if you watched Wednesday's weigh-in, y'all, it's raining. My allergies are finally cleared up a little bit. I can breathe for the first time in like 2 days. It's wonderful. Yesterday was a doozy of a day with my dog got sick, like unpleasantly sick in my house. Was not fun to wake up to that. Had to rent a rug doctor, clean that up. So between that, we had to open the windows to air the house out. The allergens were horrible yesterday. It was just not a fun day yesterday. Yesterday was awful. Was that Annie? Yesterday was plain awful. I'd sing it for y'all, but I won't. You're welcome. So yesterday was plain awful. Today is much, much better. I went and treated myself to some Dutch Brothers. I did not make it to the gym yesterday between waking up to unpleasantness in the house, the allergies being awful. I didn't actually get, this is the first time I have treated myself to Dutch Brothers this week. So I did manage to stick to my Dutch Brothers budget. Um, so that was good. That was my goal for the week, is to stick to Dutch Brothers budget, and I did. So this was my first Dutch Brothers for the week. But I went and got that this morning. So where am I? I watched my video back and I noticed that I said when I was talking about signing up for the Amex card that I was getting YouTube ads. And I was like, I know that people know that I pay for YouTube Premium, so they may have been confused by that YouTube, I'm watching YouTube ads. So just to clarify that statement, in case you were confused by that, I have two YouTube accounts. So I have my personal YouTube account that I've had for years and years, that before I started this channel. And that is where I pay for YouTube Premium. I have my YouTube Music, and that I've had for years, that I've already been paying for. And I pay for YouTube Premium on my personal YouTube. I do not have YouTube Premium on this account, on the Good Midlife Crisis account. So when I watch videos here, which is where I watch most of y'all, when I watch and comment on your videos, or just watch. Sometimes I don't comment, sorry. But when I watch videos on this account, I don't have YouTube Premium. And so this is where I'm getting the ads, because I do watch ads because I love y'all and I want to support other creators. So I do watch the ads. And so that's where I'm getting that's where I was getting the Amex ads. And so when I was watching that back, my last week's video, I was like, well, that was probably a little confusing because I paid my YouTube Premium subscription and then I was talking about watching ads. And so if I didn't know what I was talking about, that would have been confusing. Also, I noticed how many times I say, and so I'm really sorry about that. I didn't realize how many times I said that until I watched the video back, and I am very sorry. I will try to cut that down because it was very distracting to me. And then I realized through the week how many categories I skipped because I was in a hurry at the end of the week. So I, I pointed out to y'all that my budget went through the 7th and that Affleck wasn't due till the 5th. Do you see this discrepancy there? The 5th comes before the 7th. I did not fund that, but it was due. So I went and did fund Affleck because it was due. And there I just said again. It was due this past week, and so it came out, and so I funded it, which was no problem. I had the funds available. I just didn't fund it for some reason. And I booked my plane tickets to go to Washington. So I was planning to put the $250 at the end of the month into my vacation fund. I had put $100 in last week. I just went ahead and put the additional 150 in this past week to cover some of it, not all of it. And that is how I was able to pay off my PayPal MasterCard because I booked it on Alaska Airlines. And I don't know if anybody's ever used Alaska Airlines. This is the first time I'm using it. We were planning to fly Southwest, but there is a small airport closer to where Jaden lives. Jaden is Nathan's son that I am going up to watch graduate. There's a much smaller airport closer to where he lives that is only about an hour from his house as opposed to 4 hours from his house, which is where Southwest flies into. And the flights were not that far apart in price to where it made it much more reasonable to fly into the smaller airport. So we decided to fly Alaska Airlines because they go to the smaller airport. When I did that and I was looking at the prices, I decided, excuse me, to treat myself a little bit because y'all know that I am a larger person. If you follow my weight loss journey, I am just under 250 pounds. I am 248.8 pounds as of Wednesday. By June, hopefully, I will be slightly smaller than that, but I will still be over 200 pounds. And a lot of that is in my hips. And airline seats are not made for hippie women. So I treated myself and upgraded myself to the premium seats on Alaska Airlines. It's a pretty long flight, and the flight coming home is going to be one of those overnight flights where I leave at like 10 o'clock and I don't get home until 5 o'clock the next morning. I'm going to be tired. I wanted to treat myself to a premium seat, so I upgraded. The total for the upgrade was $150. For some reason, it would not let me book that when I booked the tickets. Like it kept downgrading my seat back to the regular seats. So I just went ahead and checked out and paid the regular price on the American Express card, which is why I got that card in the first place. So you will see that I do have a balance on my American Express card, which I will talk about in just a second. But I do have a balance on my American Express card again, $554.90, which this does include, this is my round trip tickets to and from Washington. And it is for me to go from Austin to, I don't even know the name of the airport, but it's a small airport in Washington. It's for a smaller town. So it is a little bit more than I would pay to fly into a larger airport because I'm going to a smaller airport. And it is for the pick your seat. I did pay the upgrade to pick your seat. It let me do that, but it wouldn't let me pay the upgrade for a nicer seat. So I had to call customer service. And when they did that, it still wouldn't go through my American Express card. But when I gave them my PayPal MasterCard, that went through. No idea why. No idea. So I transferred the additional 150 that I was already planning to put in at the end of the month. It's the same money. I was just waiting till the end of the month to put it in to make sure everything else went through. But honestly, I know everything should be fine, barring any emergencies coming up. But I do still have an emergency fund, even though I took money out of it last week, which I will talk about. I do still have an emergency fund. So as long as no emergencies come up, I should be okay. I took that out to put, I didn't take anything out. I put the additional 150 into my vacation fund that I was planning to put in at the end of the month. I just put it in at the beginning of the month. That's the only difference. So that is why this ready to assign is less than it was at the end of last week. That's the only difference is I covered Aflac, which I was supposed to have done anyway, and I put the additional 150 into my vacation fund so I could pay off my PayPal card because my PayPal card is not a zero interest card. So I know last week, if you were returning, I was having a crisis about leaving a balance on my Aflac, my Amex card, even though it was a zero interest card. And I was just talking to you last night, and I can't remember who you are. It was in my comments. But I was having somebody commented, and I responded. And in that comment, where they were talking about how they used their promotional balances for zero interest, I was trying to decide, I was trying to not decide, but figure out why this balance was bothering me so much. And I think it was the impulsiveness of it. It was because it wasn't planned for, the dinner that I paid for my family. Again, I do not regret paying for that family dinner. I have no regrets about it. But I think the reason that leaving the balance on that card was bothering me so much when I have other zero interest balances that don't bother me. My Best Buy balance doesn't keep me up at night. My Mattress Firm card doesn't keep me up at night. And I put the airline tickets on my American Express card, and that's not bothering me. I think the difference is those were planned purchases. Those were things that I knew I was going to be doing. I thought about it. I made a conscious decision. Yes, I'm going to do this. Here's my plan to pay it off over time. When I did the cruise last year, that was a zero interest balance purchase that I had thought about and planned for, and I had a payment plan set up. I think the difference is the dinner that I paid for was a last minute decision. I have this zero interest card that I just got. I can pay it off over time. I want to treat my family. Here's my card. I'm going to pay for it. I think that's the difference in my head, and that's why it was bothering me so much. And then this person responded, and I am so sorry. I wish I had written down who it was that I was talking with, because now I can't remember because I responded to so many comments last night. That yes, that makes sense. And it's actually a good thing, because I have trained my brain to not be okay with these impulsive purchases, these large impulsive purchases that aren't pre-budgeted and pre-planned for. That's not an okay thing to do. If you have a plan and you're okay with it, and you have a payment plan and a budget, then that's okay. But these impulsive $335 purchases are not an okay thing to do. And I like that my brain is programmed that way now, because it's not the way my brain was programmed prior to YNAB. So YNAB has still spoiled me. It's not necessarily in the way that I thought it was, where I have a problem with seeing balances on a card, though I still don't like seeing the balances on the card, but it's the impulsive purchases that are really where my problem is. Like with doing them, not with, I don't have a problem like I used to have of doing impulsive purchases. My problem is if I do make an impulsive purchase, I have a really hard time handling how that makes me feel. So I'm glad that I have that problem. It's a good problem to have. So I did pay that off using my emergency fund. That's good. I do now again have a balance on my MX card, but this was planned. And this one I'm totally fine with, and I will be paid off shortly. I'm going to be putting extra money into my vacation fund because, again, this was planned and I already have this budgeted to pay off. So I'm okay with this one. So anyway, that's what I needed to talk to y'all about. We only have just my regular envelopes to budget out this week, so I'm going to shrink myself up into the corner. We'll get started, and I will be right back. Okay, so for dining out, I did go just like $1.62 over this week because I went to Chipotle the other night, but that's okay. I'm okay with that because I was under, I said that very funkily. I was under in everything else, so I'm happy with that. Dining out, I give myself $40 a week. Groceries gets $100. I am keeping that $33 in there because we are going to be doing Troy Patrick soon, and I need to go buy the corned beef, so I need to go buy that. Fun Money gets $10 a week. I know I saw Dune last weekend with Nathan. I am planning to go watch it tomorrow again. Oh my goodness, y'all, that was so good. It was so good. If you are at all into sci-fi or cinematography or just movies, so good. It was so pee first because it's 3 hours, but oh my goodness, it was so good. So I'm gonna go watch it tomorrow with Jins. Um, we're gonna go to Flicks tomorrow and watch it. It was so good. I am going to put my $80 into ecclesial expenses. We will probably not go to lunch tomorrow. Probably not, but maybe. But I'm going to put the full 80 in there. $15 into coffee. Again, I did not go to Dutch Brothers this week until today. So, I mean, I did use last week's money for it, but, and then that's it. And I need to put my $20 into stuff I forgot to budget for because I did not budget it last week. I also realized that I planned to, but did not actually put the $50 into my mom's utilities last week. So, oh, and I did finally call and have them charge my mom's annual tank rental. I finally called and got that done. So that's hasn't hit my card yet because I just called yesterday, but I did finally call and have them charge it. So this will finally, and it was only 65, not 85. So hopefully this week I can finally pay that Saver One card because it's been sitting here looking like I had a balance this whole time. And it's still a $0 balance on my card, but at least now it's pending. So then I have my holiday giving. These are the two left over from last week, my two sinking funds that I just ran out of lines for. And Find Me Gluten Free, which is at the very end because it was the last one. Because these are in order now. These are my last two sinking funds that I just ran out of lines for. 184. And that's it. That is everything we have to budget. So that gives me $205.02 to roll into next week plus 205.02. So when you come back next week to watch my budget with me on Friday, I will have this 205.02 plus I should have a paycheck coming as well. So that will be what we budget next week. Okay, y'all. 7:53. That's a new record, I think. I might actually have time to call my mom. All right. I love you. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Please give this video a thumbs up if you're not already and you want to join me on this journey. You can subscribe to come along with me. I have this one. I do weekly weigh-ins. Every once in a while, I post a mental health check-in. It's not very often because it takes a lot out of me, but I do have a playlist of those if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you have some fun weekend plans coming up. What are you doing this weekend? Let me know. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.